Good afternoon, West Ham fans. Russ from the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. Happy Tuesday. I'm stuck in the broom cupboard. That is the office for your world famous Hammers headlines in association with the 𝗟𝗢𝗦𝗘 boys. So let's talk. Let's talk news. Obviously, this morning, did a bit of a thought piece about whether Nuno's got all the right ingredients to cook up a team to get us up off the base of the Premier League table, because I'm sick of looking down. I want to look up. I want to be on that first page. I don't want to scroll down anymore. And so clearly January is going to be a very critical time in terms of bringing players in. So make sure you keep abreast of all the news and views and opinions by checking out 𝗟𝗢𝗦𝗘 for all your opinions. But let's talk about some news and talk about some players, and maybe one that we've had recently some news about, and that is 𝗟𝗢𝗦𝗘 𝗕𝗔𝗙. Now, according to Fabrizio Romano, I think it was, he indicated yesterday that there was interest in 𝗟𝗢𝗦 with a possible January transfer move on the cards, possibly Serie A. As we alluded to, we all knew the fact that he was very heavily linked to a move to Juventus, to the old lady, before signing at West Ham under Tim Steidten. However, according to Clareton Hugh, they spoke with a source close to the player who insisted he has no intention of leaving West Ham. For the second time in a week, the message was clear, saying 𝗟𝗢𝗦 will be in the team soon. Don't worry about that. While obviously it's, as Clareton Hugh sort of assumes and messages, it comes from the players' camp, rather than necessarily from the club. I think with particularly the likes of Mavropanos taking that second centre-half spot, the first one is pretty much going to be always there, with Max Kilman being a Nuno guy at the time at Wolves. I think he's going to have to do a lot to break into that side, which is quite something, saying, you've got to break into that side ahead of Mavropanos. But again, in terms of the type of profile that he likes as centre halves, physicality is something which is pretty much at the cornerstone. And I think that's just 𝗟𝗢𝗦 is a fantastic footballer, but whether he has the physical, I haven't seen a lot of that, I'll be honest. So let's see what happens. He doesn't want to leave, according to the players' camp, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him leave in January, in all honesty. Whether it's loan of obligation, whether it's a straight loan, I think centre half is an area which Nuno will definitely be looking at in terms of bringing in some personnel. In terms of personnel, what about who's going to own West Ham? I've just realised I've got a bit of soy sauce. Who's going to own West Ham potentially? Obviously, we know how the current ownership works, and there was talk of takeovers, and yesterday there was talk of takeovers for Spurs, which could be bad news for West Ham. But according to Sky Sports' 𝗟𝗢𝗦𝗘, he has poured cold water on the Tottenham Hotspur Amanda Staveley bid. He revealed that Staveley will have to look elsewhere if she was to buy another Premier League club. He says Tottenham are not for sale, and that was in light of obviously fresh rumours about Staveley and a move to buy Spurs following her guest appearance at Tottenham Hotspurs that hosted the NFL, of which she was in the Box family of the Lewis family, who currently own it. He said there were three expressions of interest of varying degrees of seriousness in buying the club in terms of Spurs, and some Spurs shares are still held by private investors. Prospective bidders had to make their intentions clear as set out in the takeover code. They are all now confirmed that they will not be making bids, and that means they can't make bids for 6 months under the transfer code unless someone else enters talks about buying the club. So those three, including the Staveley bid, technically now cannot, because they said they were going to buy it, and now they're not going to buy it. Because they've said that, they can't go back on that for 6 months. So it means that if Staveley still wants, or her consortium still wants to invest in a Premier League club, then they either have to wait 6 months to go back in for Spurs, or look elsewhere, if West Ham being one of the potential candidates for her consortium. The 𝗟𝗢𝗦 concludes saying the Lewis family are committed to owning Tottenham and are looking forward to a sustained period of stability and long-term success. So there we go. Obviously, so we've talked about changes in the playing staff, changes in the boardroom, in terms of ownership. What about in terms of sort of the non-playing staff? Now we know we know that Nuno is working on his backroom staff, and we are led to believe that that will be concluded by the end of the international break. It's believed that there is interest in promoting Mark Robson again, and possibly Steve Potts into the first team coaching staff, which I think is a very shrewd move from Nuno. There's a number of people he wants. Obviously, a lot of them are still contracted at Nottingham Forest and Benfica for the fitness coach, Antonio Rus. He followed Jose Mourinho to Benfica from Fenerbahce after leaving when Nuno got sacked from Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest side apparently are looking at Graham Potter as a potential. It's funny how it all works out as a potential successor to Ange Postecoglou. But we know Nigel Carpenter. We know that Cal McCauley is someone who is potentially on the chopping board. And we spoke about it the other day in terms of whose signing is it anyway. We made references to, could it be part of the MO to discredit before getting rid, possibly. However, one of the ones who are credited with that signing is Max Kahn, and according to Blind, he could be on his way out. So Bochum have appointed Uwe Rosler as their new manager, who currently second to last in the Bundesliga 2. However, they report that following Rosler's appointment, they want to improve their recruitment staff, and that's where Max is getting a mention. He's on the list of potentials for a position in sporting management at the club. Obviously, Max is only 29, but could get a very senior role at Bochum. The role, but obviously not the club level, will be a step up from his current role of head of technical recruitment and analysis. So he could be moving into a sporting director role. Could West Ham offer him a path into that already and cut him off at the pass? If he's meant to be credited with, Diouf and Fernandes and all these guys, and if the Bundesliga 2 side are coming sniffing for him, maybe as a sporting director, Cal McCauley looking potentially moving on. Who knows? And just an exciting wrinkle when it comes to West Ham. Look, he's looking very pensive. And that's it, my friends. Thank you very much for your time. Don't forget to check out these are Brownford's latest YouTube views and opinions. Keep it on channel. Should have a couple of fun My Hammers 11s coming up in the international break for you. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Don't forget to like, comment, share. Also, don't forget to hype. Give it a hype if you've got any spare hypes. Until next time, much love. See you later, potatoes.